Well, good evening and welcome to this edition of the Island Stats Football Show. I'm your host, Earl Basting. Joining me is co-host Maceo Dill. We're hoping we'll be joined very shortly by Garrett Punchy Dill and, of course, Nikita Robinson as well. But that was the presentation earlier today as the heavens opened after Hamilton Parish defeated Wolves at Wellington Oval 3-1, and they were presented the First Division trophy. So, job complete for Hamilton Parish. They still want to try and do the double. And, of course, they play Wolves again on Wednesday night in the Shield semifinal. But a quick look at clearly a dominating season for Hamilton Parish. I do want to mention that I saw Jordan Otterbridge with a heavily bandaged leg after the match. He wasn't on the field when I got there. And of course, seeing him after was a bit of a concern, but I guess we got an injury update, from him or on him later on.
Yeah, I think Parish has probably been the most consistent team in the country this season. They've been professional about their approach. They were playing in the lower division, but they've still been very professional about the approach.
Mm-hmm.
So definitely the double is on the cards for them. And as I said, for Parish, I don't see them coming up to the Premiership and struggling. I don't see them competing for. They might compete for a trophy or so, but I don't see them coming up here and being locked in a relegation battle. For me, they're gonna come and stabilize themselves.
Good evening, fellas. Sorry,
Good evening, Punchy. We were just talking about the Hamilton Parish winning the First Division championship. They were presented the trophy following their 3-1 win earlier today at Wellington Oval over Wolves, and just congratulating them on a good season. They have a lot of support. Their supporters were out in full force, even some of the older ones, but they were very, very, as Maceo said, professional throughout the season and were able to dominate the First Division this season. Your thoughts?
I thought I like what I've seen there. Actually, a little bit late because I was talking about that, what we're talking about in terms of the senior people that follow the club, that we've seen a lack of older people that follow the club for years. Mm-hmm. And I'm glad for them. I am glad for them. I am glad what's happening.
Mm-hmm.
And we need to do more of that. What's happening at Hamilton Parish? I think they have a good organization. What they're trying to achieve there. My concern about this is about what I was talking about on what the game today, in terms of having the older generation, people that want to come out and watch good football, but also want to come out and be safe and watch good organization. And I think Hamilton Parish is on that path. My problem with Hamilton Parish, my question with Hamilton Parish would be, do they have the quality? Also, after you get past all this, everybody's happy. Yes, we won that. But let's see what happens to them when they go. Like I said, next year,
Mm-hmm.
the schedule will come out, and they got to play Jefferson Cougars on Friday night, and then the next Wednesday they got to play against Robin Hood. So let's see what happens then. Mm-hmm. So I think they're going to add much more credibility to the quality of the top league, but it's still good. It's what I'm concerned about is what do they have left? When you get injuries, what do they have? What do they have left? So again, I applaud them. I applaud for what they've done. I applaud for what they're trying to achieve there.
I did see one of their former players, and they would desperately need his skills to stay in the Premier Division next season, and Donovan Thompson celebrating with them as well. So you know that could possibly be on the cards. Him returning to Hamilton Parish to help them.
It seems that way.
What's that?
It seems that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't see anything before Swiss.
Yeah. We also wanna congratulate the Boulevard Blazers, who last night defeated BAA 3-2 in a match that decided who joins Hamilton Parish in the Premier Division. Maceo, you saw part of the game. I saw part of the game. Clearly, Boulevard's maturity stood out in the end. Using some experienced players who have already played in the Premier Division. Now they return to the Premier Division, but you know it's going to be a tall order for them.
I mean, yeah. First of all, congratulations to Boulevard. You put them in a fight, and as you know, you can show they can fight. Mm-hmm. And the inexperience of BA showed up, even though they have the organization, they have Andrew there. You know, the Boulevard players. You know, they knew they were in a war. They knew they were in a battle, and that was their comfort zone. They were in their comfort zone. They're used to having their back against the wall, just generally, you know, in their lives. They're used to having their back against the wall. This is a good lesson for the BA kids. I mean, because basically they were kids out there. I mean, Trey Burgess is 16. He's starting to come up, you know, he's starting to find his scoring form, you know. So BA definitely had kids, and another year in that division would do well for them, you know, and they're being welcomed to football adversity. You know, you need to be able to face a bit of football and life adversity, and this will probably be those kids at BA's first time facing this type of heartbreak, this type of adversity, because for long they were in pole position, right?
Right.
And to Boulevard, I mean, they're used to adversity. Just generally, they're used to adversity, and you know, they was, you know, because they was up against adversity, they were almost in their comfort zone, and they got aggressive. They got aggressive, you know, and they did what they needed to do to get the game across the line, even after going down 1-0. So you have to give respect to that, right? You have to give respect to that. But you know, they'll be up in the Premier Division, and you know, they would need to make big improvements to be sustainable up there. They need to be big improvements to sustain themselves at that level.
Definitely. Your thoughts on Boulevard playing in the Premier Division next year?
You know, it's funny that it's so great about the show. That's why I like the show. We are asking questions of this about what's happening. Like, should have been Boulevard or should have been BA? Of course, I think we go back to what we're talking about, Andrew's structure in terms of, okay, let's say, where the players going to come to play for Boulevard? Where are they going to come next year? What's going to happen with them? Hey, my kudos to them. Good. But what is the structure? What's the future for them? And I thought maybe I was hoping, I'm siding with because Andrew, you know, come from North Village anyway. The structure and what's going to have the strength of the top league in this country. We need organization at the top level. So they just what Marco Warren was talking about, that on Sunday afternoon we're going to play against Rangers and they're going to show up with 11 players. No, it's not going to happen in the Boulevard. But my problem is, sir, they need to actually recruit. They need to recruit. And that's what's going to be my concern for them. I think Hamilton Parish is going to be okay. My problem with them is that on Sunday afternoon or Saturday night, they got to go play against Cougars out at Devonshire Rack. And so it's gonna and they're gonna travel well. Do they travel well? So the thing is that we're asking these questions of these clubs now and saying, well, that ain't gonna work. It just ain't gonna work. And so that is, I applaud them for what's happening with Boulevard, but we'll see next year. We'll see.
Well, let's get into a bit of the Premier Division. I know we all want to talk about the match on Wednesday night out at the Rec, and obviously the Tuesday night one as well. But North Village today put a big dent in PHC's title hopes with a 2-2 draw. PHC now are only 1 point behind Dandytown, but Dandytown have a game in hand. If Dandytown wins this game tomorrow night, the league is over.
Yeah, yeah.
What did you see? What did you see at Bernard Park, Garrett?
Well, PHC actually, I don't know. There's some faults that I see with them in terms of they have everything there. I think they're a better team than Dannytown. Quality, player for player, they're a better team. They're a better quality players there. Antoine, I'm telling you, some of the stuff that they do, I'm like, whoa. The problem I have with them is like the opportunities they would like, you know, they should have won the game today hands down. Norfolk is fought back in that heavy rain, and they didn't put away the chances. You're talking about Marco Warren. Look at the front five of PHC. Marco Warren, Antoine Russell, who's a brain, and then his cousin. They have everything there. What I saw today was a lack of finishing, a lack of saying this is over. But that's what I have with them. I do still see that they have quite a bit of possibilities there. But I thought they should have won this game handsomely, but they didn't. And then after Norfolk just kept plodding away, dropping long balls over the back, and I thought PHC were playing a square line, and that was very, very poor in these conditions. They're putting the ball over the top, and they were playing. So I was like, wow, can't you figure that out? So anyway, I thought wasn't a good decision by the coaching staff. I thought, yeah, we missed some opportunities, but not let them back in the game. And the other thing that helped Norfolk is in terms of the conditions. You know, they put 4 passes together, then the ball go over the top. Well, there you go. And they capitalized on some the Pacers should have won that game. They should have won that game. Seriously, should have won that game.
Sure.
But hey, we'll see next week or week after next when the FA Cup comes in, because the chances that PHC created and it's what they created, in the FA Cup semifinal, those goals are going to go in. Antoine Russell is not going to miss those chances that he missed today. Trust me. You know, you just put man for man, and I say to you, I would have done man for man, the top 3 at PHC and the top 3 at Norfolk. There's a huge gap in terms of quality.
Right.
It's definite. So, you know, we'll see how this goes. That's what I saw today.
Sure. Maceo?
Yeah, it points to a mentality, right? It points to a mentality. I think I said it some time back. I remember when PHC was playing up Rangers, and it was just after Christmas, and I said, well, PHC seemed like they think that old Purvis playing football, you know, and they still got the game. So it points to being professional, right? Being professional at all times. And if one thing PHC is probably lacked is always being professional at all times, you know, and that's what Dannytown said, right? Dannytown's always been professional at each stage of the game. So PHC definitely have talent, you know, and for me, they probably just lacked a bit of professionalism at crucial times in the season. You know, that's kind of let them down, because I agree, you know, I agree that they have the best players, but not necessarily the best team. Dannytown is showing that they have the best team, you know, to keep getting results cross the line, you know, and you know, PHC, you know, I'll be interested to see where they go from here if they don't win a title. I'm actually predicting. I mean, at this moment, I can't see Dannytown making a mistake with Colts. I can't see it. I can't see Dannytown making a mistake with Colts. And you know what? I didn't see that the PHC would make a mistake with North Village. I mean, they was leading the game 2-0. It's leading the game 2-0. You know, North Village accepting that. Yeah, but then, you know, from Kenneth's approach, he would also be professional, right? He would also always continue to be professional. And PHC's let themselves down. They're gonna be bitterly disappointed.
Mm-hmm.
They're gonna be
Make sure I want to add to that what you're saying about that, about what I saw the Devils Rack the other night. Now you're leading 3-2, right? Against Dennytown. You know the space, you know the speed of Dennytown players. I was wondering, why are you opening up? Why don't you just condense the game, make Dennytown go out wide, put crosses in, and deal with that? But I just didn't think they managed the game well against Dennytown that night on Devils Rack. Look, we're talking about 6-5. Come on, 6-5. There's 11 goals. Some of the defensive errors was like unbelievable. I was like, what is this? So when I read the papers was like, the next day, Roy Gazette wrote it up. Oh, what a glamorous game. No, it's just bad behavior defensively. Seriously, close the game up.
Yeah.
Make Dennytown go wide with the runs, with the speed, and just sit back and do something. And I thought that's what I saw, what I witnessed the other night. Again today, same scenario. But leading to nothing. What would you have done in the rain? What would you have done? So now Norfolk is pumping the ball down the field. You're playing a flat back line. So now the ball's another one. People run behind you. I'm like, well, you guys can't figure this out. I'm saying, what are you don't understand about this? So that's the same thing I see with PHC now. It's the coaching. I think they're sometimes you just gotta dig in, make decisions, sit back. Okay, I'll demonstrate tonight. Everybody's, the cards on it. Just do the right thing, son. Just defend. Make Dennytown come. Make them have to figure out what they're gonna do. Let them go wide. Go wide. Yeah, go wide. And they will counter-attack on you. So that's my concern about PHC in terms of when they're in charge of the game, how do they control the game, and just manage it well. Just manage the game good. With those Russell guys, oh man, I'm saying they just like, whoa. So that game on Devils Rack the other night should have been over. I'm not pointing my fingers at the coaching staff at PHC, but they should have managed the game better.
Yeah,
that's my personal. They should have managed the game better, and they didn't manage the game. And they didn't manage the game on Devils Rack that night, and they didn't manage the game today against North Village. They didn't manage the game well.
Right. Well, let's take our first commercial break. When we come back, we'll have the other Premier Division match at White Hill Field. We'll be right back.
Putting down the weapons.
You seeing this? This month, John Barrett & Son bring us a premium thirst quencher from North Carolina, the Blue Ultra Purified Water. Many other bottled waters use reverse osmosis to reach an acceptable level of purity. Le Bleu uses a 5-step purification process, which includes fractional vapor compression, distillation, and ozonation, assuring purity and a unique, appealing flavor. Consumer testimony repeatedly praises the taste of Le Bleu compared to the other brands, and this, along with superior purity, makes Le Bleu a must-try. Lindo's, why go anyplace else?
I'm also thankful and grateful because my greatest value of my life is my legacy.
But why I do it? I feel supposed to do it. I was put here to be here, to do what I'm doing right now. Once I see somebody moving, it's the greatest joy for me. There's a little person being born.
I am thankful that people have given me the trust, for me to empower them, from my players to my family, to France, and that's what I'm thankful for. I'm thankful that people have allowed me and trusted me to be in their life.
Welcome back. Well, the other Premier Division match earlier today saw St. George's Colts go up 3-0 on Somerset Eagles, but Somerset were able to come back. Well, they scored twice, but St. George's would end the season with a 3-2 victory. Finishing their season with a win will be something I know they'll be happy with after going through that last 2 months of struggle. Where things didn't go their way. Now they have to put everything aside and get ready for next season, and they have something to grow on. Just looking at the season of Somerset Eagles, Maceo, relegated. They struggled from the start.
Yeah, they were always going to struggle from the start. I mean, that's their history, right? The Somerset Eagles, at certain points in their history, they had the Bermuda's best players. When you had, Kenny Thompson or Dale, very, very exciting teams at certain points, but they've always been a sort of yo-yo club, right? They've always been that, and so this year they just lack the quality of player. They definitely lack the quality of those players. So there's no surprise that they're been relegated, and it just leads to the argument of the saturation of the quality. I mean, in Somerset, Sandys, I need to say that correctly. In Sandys Parish, you have, 3 teams. You have Island Rangers, you have Somerset, and you have Somerset Eagles, and it just saturates the quality of players. So there's no surprise for me. It's no surprise. It's like, where they go from this? That's it. That's the question. Where they go? I can't see them gaining any strength. I just can't see it.
Quincy, give us your thoughts on St. George's finishing with the win.
That's good. That's good. It's a rebuilding structure there. What's happening here? What I am concerned about them, actually, they have to understand that it's a rebuilding process that's going on there. I think the coaching staff there is doing a good job. It's what they have to work with. I'm glad they survived this. I'm glad they survived, and they're gonna stay up. Now, what do you do with what you have, what you achieved? If we were to equate them with the EPL, English Premier League, maybe a Southampton team, or maybe Brighton, what do they need to add? I think they have to keep adding structure. When you got people like Carl Roberts, you got Patches Deal, and then you got Drew Haven. So now we got the structure of the coaching staff. What they have to do is keep growing. Stay focused. You're not winning enough. You didn't win enough in this year, but just there. That should be a port on the back. Yeah, okay, yes. But I think I see something there. I talked to my nephew. He's staying next year. So the structure is structuring growth. Use younger players, develop younger players. I added my 2 cents to them. You need a development program for the summer for your young footballers. If St. George's do that, they're a community. I think they're gonna be okay. I think they're gonna be okay if they just understand. And don't forget what Maceo said: there are 2 football clubs, the cricket club and a football club. What do you want to achieve? See, the coaching staff is okay there. Is what they're going to work with, and I applaud them. I think they're going to be okay.
Yeah. Then last night at the Somerset Cricket Club, Somerset defeated Southampton Rangers 6-1. Rangers have been leaking goals for some time. Another team relegated already. So, where do we go from here as far as what their program would look like next season? I mean, they lost, 13, 14 players?
Yes.
Yeah. Now they're relegated. They lost 14 players that were going to play in the Premier Division. What will they lose with players in the First Division for next year? As you know, some guys go searching for, that Premier Division play. Others are just happy to play for a club. What happens? What's your thoughts, Maceo?
Well, it'll be interesting what they learned from this journey over the last 4 years, right? Because they took a chance and they brought Jamal Wilkinson up. They bought a lot of players up that are not Rangers players. I mean, and we all know the attraction, and it's probably been some negotiation going on financially for players to come around there. And we're seeing that before. We're seeing that at the Vasquez. We're seeing that in our journey before, and we know that it's not sustainable.
Mm-hmm.
We know while I'm all for players being paid, I'm all for it. It has to be regulated. It has to be a proper regulation of it. If we're going to do it, and we're going to figure out how to do it across the board, right? So we see that model not be sustainable.
Right.
Rangers. If I'm looking at history, the Vasquez, but potentially when you don't have a youth setup, potentially Rangers could be the next club out of the league.
Mm.
That's a potential, right? That's a potential. I would like to see them figure out how to collaborate with a Paget. Their neighbors. How do they collaborate with Paget? Because Paget could be in the same predicament. Not being able to put together enough players, to make a roster.
Mm-hmm.
So it doesn't look well for Rangers, and I just would want to see if they learn from the journey of Jamal. You bought a top coach in, you bought players that follow him. You got a trophy, and then it went south. It just wasn't sustainable.
Right.
Yeah.
Punchy with Somerset. I think they will end up picking up some more players along the way. But what happens with someone like Juma? Because at the beginning of the season, there was a lot of pressure being put on him, as Maceo was saying, taking a Dandytown style of football to the Somerset Trojans.
Mm. It's definitely. I think what's happening at the West End. Remember, at the West End, at times they were producing such good players.
Mm-hmm.
And the players from Island Rangers, when they got one of the best players, will go to Somerset and play for the Somerset Club. And then in 1 year, the best players will go up to Somerset, even though there's also that situation where Somerset Eagles players feel Somerset Eagles are not. It's a derby anyway. The point I'm saying, what's concerned for me is that the quality up there. Island Rangers used to be a good team. They used to produce good players.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Somerset, and then White Hill. I don't see them good players. Last Saturday when I went West End, I don't see them producing good players. What's happened up the West End?
Mm.
Where are the good players? Where are the good players of West End? So you're giving Jomar something to work with. What is he going to work with? There's not a whole lot of quality there. Trust me. Jomar, I appreciate what he's trying to do up there, but he's not working with quality. And the thing about what's concerning to me in this country is that then at times, you go back years ago, the best players, 1 or 2 players from Island Range would go play for Somerset. And repeat myself. Then the best players, 2 players from White Hill will go play for Somerset. All right? Yeah, okay. That's not happening anymore because they ain't got no good players. So what is he going to work with? So Jomar's got a real problem there. What is he working with? And that's, it's funny what's happening in this country. Mm. If the West End, which is I thought, always produce young players, good players, where are they now? Where are they now? What's the youth program like? What is Somerset youth program like? What is Island Rangers youth program like? And forget about Somerset Eagles youth program. Where are they? So what we're seeing is the results of their progress. And there's no progress up in the West End, which is awful because, they have, Jesus, what's happening in this country, man? And if it's happening there, then we got to start thinking about what's going on in our country, And I'm saying to you, I haven't seen much. When I saw Somerset Eagles play last week against Norwich, and Norwich weren't that great. They just were allowed to do what they wanted to do. So it's a question of like what's going on there, and I'm glad we're talking about this, and ask the questions of well, what's going on there in the West End?
For me,
Silver City? I don't think so. I don't think so.
definitely not. For me, reflecting on the whole season, Jamal going up Somerset, it always seemed a strange appointment for me. And I used the analogy of taking a Danny Town concept up Somerset. But okay, Jamal's at Somerset. For me, once I knew he was at Somerset, I was more looking at, well, what can he learn from being in that type of environment? That, and what can he learn as a coach? I didn't really see Jamal bringing something to Somerset that they don't already have, but I did see Somerset being able to potentially teach Jamal something different about the game, because Jamal, for me, has been an individual coach. So if you look at how he coaches, he doesn't have a large coaching staff. He has full autonomy in making choices. Somerset was been moving in a different direction, with having a coaching staff out there. So Jamal, what was he going to learn from the coaching staff that was there? I mean, you had D.O. Seymour, you had Dennis Braun. You also had Larry Smith. You had Mark Trott.
Mm-hmm.
So Somerset was looking at themselves like a Dannytown, what Dannytown's to having a coaching staff in place to their, and Jamal doesn't work well with coaches. He works well as an individual. If you look at all his success has been him working as an individual, So it'd be interesting if he gets another year. That would be interesting. I think in the grand scheme of it, he should get another year to be able to see what he's learned and see if he goes from strength to strength. But it's very interesting to get another year, because Somerset's not going to be that tolerant, right? Somerset knows Somerset.
Mm-hmm.
And if he doesn't make certain cultural adjustments to understand Somerset as a football culture, he's not going to, it's questionable if he gets another year up there. It's questionable if he wants another year too.
But make sure you make some interesting points. But the problem that I have with what you're saying is this: I think Jamal will make an excellent coach. It's what he's got to work with, the mentality in the country, what he has to work with. If you hand a mechanic a bad engine, then what do you expect of it? And so my problem is what I think is happening in the country, in this country and over. What is that you have to work? I think some of the Eagles, I applaud them. But what do you have to work with? And I think Jamal is even in a situation now, put in a situation where it's with Somerset, okay. But I don't find we had the point, let's say for instance, how many players from Somerset could make the national program? National, seriously. It's the same thing what you're working with. I think that's what's happening in the country. We got these coaches, everybody's getting badges. And I thought the game today, reflecting what I saw today, what does Kenny have to work with in what he wants to do? What does Mr. Trott have to work with what he has? And so I think that's what's happening in our country. We're talking about situations that are sometimes out of the coach's control. I think what you have to work with, and it's really at least we're talking about this, sir. At least we're talking about why the results are where they are.
That's my
opinion on that.
Yeah, I'm just got a message that I think I should share, because one thing we have to also acknowledge is the fact that a lot of our quality young players are overseas, whether it be in school or in an academy. So
right.
For our progress in one area, we suffer in another.
Yeah.
And I think we have to also keep that in mind as well.
Good point, though.
For me, we've said that for 3 decades now, right? We're had that conversation about good players going away. I was a player that went away, and sort of, from a North Phillies perspective, at 18 years old, I ran away. So the solution to that is a bigger solution. The solution to that is, let's start addressing, do we have too many clubs in Bermuda? let's start addressing our youth setup that we can keep producing a conveyor belt of players, that can fill these gaps, because our success of sending players away or parents sending players away shouldn't be the reason our domestic league gets undermined. We know good players are leaving the country. We know that for 3 decades now. For 3 decades, our good players are leaving the country. We got to come up with a solution now, because for 3 decades, we know they're leaving. We can't keep doing what we was doing 3 decades ago because we're undermining our game. We're undermining the quality of our game. And like I said, Marco Warren spoke to it the other day. So we have to have some very serious conversations. I mean, you saw me at the beginning of the season when they let Pagic in the league. I said, well, maybe they should not let him back in the league, And I know that's a harsh statement to make because of historical pieces, but we're got to decide, are we going to save football, or are we going to, give favor to clubs to participate? Are we just going to participate in football? Are we actually going to save it? And if we're going to save football, we're going to make some hard decisions.
But
I'll say this. You know what? I'll say I'll give a different scenario, because we've got limited resources. So we know in Cuba many years ago, to save their education, they decided everybody over 18 is done, educational wise. We're going to take all our resources in Cuba and apply it to 5-year-olds and 6-year-olds. So all our resources is going to go there. So in 20 years, we don't have this problem. So somebody had to get sacrificed. I used to say that all the time. Like I used to say, when I took over North Village, people didn't know, I was trying to get rid of Cantuan, Hansi, Kevin, all my top players. I was like, guys, let me take my resources and apply them to my younger players and develop them. But the club wanted something different. So we have to look at, and that's at the country, we have to now start taking our resources and applying them to the kids, so we don't have this problem in 10 years or 20 years. So that's how I see it. Trust me, I'll be very radical. I'll be very radical. Like anybody over 25, the Premier League for me, I would make it an under 25 league, and any out of 25, go play Corona, and let me bring my resources through. I mean, I'm very radical in the approach I take to it, right?
Punchy, you were going to say something?
There you go, work, Maceo. I'm sorry. There you go, work. It's just going to work. I just saying to you, this sir. Listen. Again, all we're doing is in this show asking questions of what we need to do, which is promote the game. And I think it's so important, even if we disagree, but it's just promoting the game. And today, under the conditions that I saw, good football, good organization, good refereeing too. Like the refereeing situation. So we've got all these at our doorsteps now. So all we got to just keep plugging away, have the right people in charge. People want to come pay $10 to see a good game. And I thought the game of Devonshire Wreck was a good game. And I just thought that defensively, both teams didn't show up. But what I'm saying to you is just, we're going to start somewhere. And that's what I love about the show. We're asking questions of what's not been asked before. And so I think it's still positive. I think we're still heading in the right direction. I think so. And, we will be criticized for what we say, what's not happening to coaching staff or whatever. But the point is, we know where's Island Rangers going, what's happening to West End. So we're asking these questions. And the thing about it is, it's very important to understand it's a step in the right direction for the country. For the country. And so we can go on. I'm sorry, I'm not going over that. And
no problem.
So we're going over that.
Yeah, we're going to take another commercial break. When we come back, we'll have more of the Honest That's Football Show. We'll be right back.
The history of everyday use of spices extends back thousands of years into antiquity. Since 1976, the Frontier Natural Foods Co-op has been bringing a wide range of exciting and authentic flavors to the table. A comprehensive range of ancient traditional herbs and spices produced organically and sustainably. The results are good news for the environment and more robust, fragrant essential oils in these natural seasonings. This month, we're featuring Frontier Natural Products, at least 95% organic salt-free lemon pepper. Lindo's. Why go anyplace else?
thankful and grateful because my greatest value of my life is my legacy.
But why I do it? I feel supposed to do it. I was put here to be here, to do what I'm doing right now. Once I see somebody moving, it's the greatest joy for me. There's a little person being born.
I am thankful that people have given me the trust, for me to empower them, from my players to my family to friends. And that's what I'm thankful for. I'm thankful that people have allowed me and trusted me to be in their life.
Focus putting down the weapons.
You seeing this?
Basketball.
Welcome back. I just want to get this out. The elimination of experience started in the early 90s, and hence no leadership, and now what we have today, which is a strong point, because if you look at a lot of the clubs around, the leaderships are near the same age as the guys. So there's no real. We could go back in the day when you would have started, you had senior players in the team that helped groom you. So when you went away to school, those senior players were still there with some experience. So somebody else would have slipped into your place. But what you have today is you don't have that senior to be the experienced person in the team. And when these guys go away, if they go away to school, if they go away to academy, if they go anywhere, there's no still experienced players. So you got what we have in some teams today. All inexperienced players on the field with no one to guard them.
I mean, I totally agree, and that's why I like to brainstorm as to how do you get that. Like, I would almost make the Premier League a development league for the country, per se. Whereas right now it's what we're calling the Premier League. I'll figure out, because I'm trying to also figure out how to save players, how to keep players in the game. So it's
shrinking the clubs ain't gonna keep them in the game. It's gonna eliminate them.
Well, if you shrink the club level, then you have more quality. You have more quality in teams.
But you just made the point that you wanted to save people by playing the game. But if we have to figure out this will be the key. Figure out how you can save them and help quality. But if you take out teams, you might get the quality, but then you have another problem because you probably eliminated 100 to 150 players.
So let's look at the balance. Let's look at the balance. It's a lot of different puzzle pieces. So one important thing that we have to understand in Bermuda, the birth rate. When you look at the birth rate, we're no longer having 8 children. So people having 1 and 2 children. Basic, right? So that's a problem. Now we've got more sports to pick from, but we still got the same number of clubs to play. So just from a number perspective, right now, we're not got enough players to fill the clubs, and then we've got more people going away. So that's a problem. We've got more people leaving the island that go away for opportunities in sports and football in particular. So we no longer have the numbers to fill teams, and that's manifesting itself. We see that with people not showing up, So that's one problem. So that's why, to fix that problem, I'm saying about shrink the number of clubs, and even potentially have one league in Bermuda. I think we have 21 clubs right now. I think were capable of maybe 15 clubs at most, and there's a lot of different pieces. Then is the idea of the separation between cricket and football. Like you can do one or the other. I think we can do both and be good at any of them. Like we used to glorify ourselves that we had these sportsmen that could do both, but I don't think they reach full potential in any of them by doing both. Like at 15, you got to decide what you're going to be as a sportsman. You're either going to be a footballer or a cricketer, or a runner.
But let me just say this: some of our biggest legends of sport played both sports.
I get that, and we're not going to lose our legends. They're still going to be our legends, but to go forward to create new legends, and to keep pace with the world, we're going to have to start specializing in what we do at 15. We're going to have to start making be a specialist to keep pace. And we're not going to lose our legends that played the sport. So that's not going to be lost. But to create more legends in cricket and to create more legends in football, you might have to decide which one you want to be. And even clubs, you might have to decide which sport you want to be, because you can't do them both. So we gotta really make some really tough decisions. Like you can't do them both. We don't have the resources, we don't have the money, and we don't have the numbers to do them both. So it's some very tough decisions that are got to be made if you want to save the sport of football and the sport of cricket.
Well, they have less clubs playing cricket.
Yeah.
Less clubs playing cricket, but have the similar problems.
Yeah, you have less. You just don't have the numbers, right? You don't have the numbers, and then you don't have the quality of it. You don't. So we do have a number situation that we don't have the numbers to facilitate our sports. Both our cricket and football, we don't have the numbers, and those are team sports. It's no secret that we're starting to do good in individual sports, because it only takes one person in Philadelphia to do a triathlon. It don't take 10 people to do a triathlon, but it takes 20 people to have a football game, or it takes 15 people to have a cricket game. You see now in our country we're doing well in cycling, and then it takes one person to be a cyclist, right? And to train. So we're starting to do well in these individual sports, but we don't want to lose sight. We don't want to lose sight of our national sports, which is cricket and football, and we have to make some very drastic changes to save it. And it's not one change that we have to make; it's a whole rebuild that we have to make.
I would add not to leave you out of the conversation, Punchy, but I would add one thing to that as somebody that knows a lot about all these, especially the individual sport. A lot of the individuals that are doing well in individual sports have got funding and a lot of it behind them.
That's another
issue. It's not an issue.
Yeah,
that's another issue. That's another issue. Funding. I mean, football is $1 million, $1 billion sport. We can draw on resources from our FIFA to assist, but can we assist 21 clubs? Can we assist 21 clubs? Maybe if it was 15 clubs, maybe.
I mean, when we were getting from FIFA, we had an abundance of talent.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's short supply.
I mean, look at the other day. I mean, FIFA awarded. There's money. FIFA awarded for $500,000 to the girls, which is good, and they're trying to figure out how to build their league, right? They're trying to figure out how to go and build themselves. They award $500,000. For me, it should be done. That $500,000 for me, I would have invested it all in under 10 people. Like people under 10, I would. That's where that $500,000, if it was my decision to make, that 100% of that $500,000 would have been invested in under 10. So I invested in under 10s. When they get 20, I have a sustainable piece. And let's go back to when we went to the Cricket World Cup, the pinnacle. Look at the age of our players that went there. Look at the age, and that was the end. Like, whereas another country, I think it was Bangladesh at the time, they took to their World Cup, they took 18, 19-year-old, 18, 16-year-olds, and now they're still at World Cups. They bit the bullet. Bangladesh, and I think, they bit the bullet and said, yeah, we're invested in our kids, and now they're still at World Cups. And they grew new experienced players because they made mistakes, and now those players are the experienced players that are bringing along the rest. So, and I'm not trying. I've always been trying to eliminate experience, and that's not what I'm trying to do. I would like to take, I would even take the experienced people, and now they be coaches of the game, or they be facilitators of the game. Like even a Marco Warren, it's probably our best player. Marco is now approaching 30 years old. Marco, I would give him a position at PHC where he's bringing up youth players. I would sacrifice even a Marco Warren. I would sacrifice Antoine Russell to the future. And just like I would have did it at North Phillies, I would sacrifice a Cantuan Jennings to the future. So it's not kicking them out of the game. It's like y'all got another role in the game. You got another role in the game to save the game, and the role is maybe not playing. The role is y'all gonna bring the future along.
Okay, Punchy?
I want to add to this, sir. I'm cut into you. It's figuring this out. The future of the country depends on what we have at our disposal, and doing it the right things. What's got to be done? Don't you understand? I want to make don't you understand? I'm saying at the school programs, organization. We're going to start looking at organization at the younger level. What Maceo was saying about, let's say, for instance, when I was at, I think I talked to you guys about this when I was at Bournemouth, and said on Thursdays, my grandson, he had the whole day off, just like Maceo, your son, the whole day off. So the academy players had the whole day off. They had an organization with the teachers. So you don't think we could do that here? The best players at that 10 years old. It's a workable solution. So what do we do? Even the cricketers. So now we're gonna decide, that now Dion Stubble, you do twofold. Like Carl, no, we want we can't do this. See, we're gonna stop it, sir. Not stop it, but that's not gonna work for us no more. You're the football or cricket. If you're a good cricketer, let's do the same programs so we develop. That's what's happened years ago in the schools. It was development. It's not happening. The separation of, and because we have less numbers, we're going to decide, okay, this on the 12 team, on the 13 teams, the academy players, now on Thursdays, they have the whole day off, football, management, school, and cricket and football. So I'm thinking, well, yeah, that works. That could work. Why don't even we try that? Why don't we give it something else? So the best young players from Somerset Cricket Club all the way down to St. George's, on the 10s, on the 12s, on Thursdays, they go to school, they get fed, it's a structured program. You're in a national program. See, we're going to start thinking like this, sir. In cricket too. Mm-hmm. So they feel, so everybody else wants to make that grade. And so I think that we're going to start thinking outside the box, like Maceo said, in terms of, so when we come watch a game and a person is 20 years old and he's playing at this level, his quality is not there. You're saying, well, what institution he come from? So we're going to get this right. We have to figure this out. And I think we're going to make changes at the association. I think the association people are not doing their job well. I don't think they talk about creativity, but we're talking about Maceo, we're talking about the next generation at the school level, development. Like what my niece is doing in football, we're going to generate a concept of good football, good cricketers, and separate it. Dion Stubble plays 2 games like Gennaro Tucker. It ain't gonna work for this country no more.
It ain't working.
It ain't working no more. You either play cricket at this level, and then, okay, you play a joking game or set it up, have fun. But at the national level, You're going to decide what we're doing here. We're going to decide. We've got footballers, and this country, this association with cricket, have got to make a decision and do something. Have the best under 12s, under 10s on a Thursday. Schooling. I saw it at Bournemouth. I see it. I saw it. I said, this could work in this country.
Yeah.
This could work. If we just have people with vision. And that's what I'm concerned about in this country. I'm sorry about that. I'm not calling the names. I'm concerned about this, sir, because it's possible. It's possible. The Dutch do it. A small country, they do it. Why don't we just put this emphasis on organization? And what I'm telling you, way back when it's on the 16th, they have all of the country on summer program. They had these games. We used to play all summer. Footballers. And then cricketers will play over the cricketers. We're going to separate this. And I'm saying, make sure, again, adding to what you said, it's got to be something that's I'm saying, I'm sorry about, we're talking about this, but I want to talk more about schools. But anyway, that's how I feel about it.
No problem. We're going to do another commercial break, and when we come back, we'll look at the scores and then look at our picks for next week. We'll be right back.
I'm also thankful and grateful because my greatest value of my life is my legacy.
But why I do it? I feel supposed to do it. I was put here to be here, to do what I'm doing right now. Once I see somebody moving, it's the greatest joy for me. There's a little person being born.
I am thankful that people have given me the trust, for me to empower them, from my players to my family to friends. And that's what I'm thankful for. I'm thankful that people have allowed me and trusted me to be in their life.
Putting down the weapons.
You seeing this?
Most of us identify pasta with the joys of Italian food, the most popular cuisine on the planet. After all, pasta is the staple food of Italy, where hundreds of varieties are enjoyed daily. While traveling in the Far East, the founder of the Explore Cuisine company was surprised and impressed by the variety of exotic pastas he found, sampled, and enjoyed there, and resolved to bring this knowledge back to enrich the cuisine of the West. This month, we're featuring delicious Explore Cuisine organic mung bean fettuccine and black bean spaghetti. Lindo's, why go anyplace else?
And welcome back. Let's just run through the scores from last week of course, this week. And of course, we still have 2 matches to be played. As we said, the Dendy Town Hornets take on Devonshire Colts tomorrow night. And then on Tuesday night, Robin Hood hosts Crossroads. Now, interesting for both of those matches, Dendy Town could sew up the league. Devonshire Colts need to win. Robin Hood are comfortable. Crossroads need to win. So the game on tomorrow night has a lot of meaning. Devonshire Colts are fighting for survival in the Premier Division, and of course, Dendy Town are looking to claim the title tomorrow night. And of course, on Tuesday night, Crossroads are looking to give themselves a lifeline, especially if Devonshire Colts do not win. If Crossroads win, it's all important down to that last game. So we would have something to watch next week as well. But the games that were played, North Village and PHC drew 2-2. We all took PHC. Somerset Eagles went down 3-2 to St. George's. We all took St. George's. And Somerset Trojans defeated Southampton Rangers last night, 6-1, and we all took Somerset. Strangely enough, tomorrow night we all have Dandytown, and Tuesday night we all have Robin Hood. So that will make Devonshire Colts, and if that holds true, Devonshire Colts and Crossroads will go to the last week of the season next week with all important games. In the first division, on Wednesday night, there was a shocker. Hamilton Parish 0, Island Rangers 0. We all took Hamilton Parish. Last night, Vasco could not field a team against Island Rangers. We all took Island Rangers anyway. BAA went down 3-2 to Boulevard. We all took BAA. And I guess that spurred on Boulevard to win and be promoted. Hamilton Parish defeated Wolves today, 3-1. We all took Hamilton Parish. And Social Club defeated Paget 6-0. And we all took Social Club. So as it stands, without those two Premier Division games, everyone got 5, moving Nikita to 116, Maceo to 114, Punchy to 109, myself to 107. Now, to next weekend's games. Devonshire Cougars on Friday night play host to the North Village Rams. I'm going to start with you, Punchy.
I thought PHC would have win the game, but oh my God. A Friday night, let me see the mentality of the players. Let me see about this. I'm gonna get right to you. A Friday night game, a draw. I'm going with Cougars.
Okay. The one thing, let me just add, of course, Devonshire Cougars are now in the final of the friendship.
Yes.
They're going to be looking for some form. This will be North Village's final game of the. No, they have a FA Challenge Cup semifinal to play.
Yes, they do. Yes, they do.
Both teams will want to have.
I'm glad you said that too, because the performance today showed grit. They showed a lot of grit today. Yeah, the condition. So even so, on a Friday night or Devonshire Rec next Friday, that's a real task for them. Oh, Devonshire Rec. So I'm picking Cougars for that game.
Cougars, Maceo?
Yeah, I'm picking Cougars for the same reasons. For the same reasons. It's a do or die game.
Right.
Cougars is a do or die team.
Well, I penciled in Cougars as well. Then on Saturday night at the BAA field, the Dandytown Hornets, whether or not they are the league champions at the time, will take on PHC Zebras. Maceo.
Yeah, you know what, man? Dandytown has just showed character upon character. Like, that character is what keeps shining through this season. Like, I didn't think that they could beat PHC the other night. Like, PHC even dominated, but it is the character that keeps coming through, keeps coming out of Dandytown. That character that keeps coming out of them. And, they're singing a lot now. Dandytown is singing a lot about Triple Crown. They're singing it a lot now. I'm picking Dandytown, man. I'm picking Dandytown to get across the line. I'm picking Dandytown to give themselves the opportunity to win the Triple Crown. Dandytown will have wrapped up the league by time that game gets here. They will beat Cougars. They will beat Colts on Monday night, and they will then shift all their focus to the Triple Crown. They will put that pressure on themselves.
Well, being that you said that, if they've already wrapped up the league and then they are now turning their attention to 1, the FA Cup semifinal, and 2, the Friendship final, I honestly believe they will try. If they've already wrapped it up, they will rest some players, and PHC will win this match. If they've already wrapped it up, that's my.
They want something bigger. Dandytown wants to be considered a big club now.
Oh yeah.
They want to be considered a big club, and I speak to the likes of people like GM Baxter and this, because GM is a bit like Alex Ferguson, right? Alex Ferguson is still mad that he didn't pass Liverpool's amount of trophies, and he still can't sleep properly. So GM wants Dandytown to have a Triple Crown under their name to match the exploits of the big clubs.
Right. Well, them losing to PHC only the final game of the season because they already wrapped it up, and you'll stop them from getting Triple Crown.
No, but they would have to get in the finals of the
That's they'll turn their attention to that.
yeah.
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 So Punchy, who you pick? PHC or Dendy Town? Saturday night at BAA Field.
Let me give you a statistic. This is what I figured.
Oh, sorry. I'm thinking it was I'm thinking
Yeah,
that's the league game. The league
Yeah.
game. Yes.
In two games, right? Let's really talk about this, sir. The PHC. Out there at Devonshire, 6-5. That means they conceded 6 goals, right? Am I correct?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yes.
And today they conceded 2 goals in 2 games. That's 8 goals they conceded. So my problem with them is that the other night on Devonshire, I said, well, you're leading 3-2. Why don't you show up, do something different here, Mr. Trott? Yeah, make Denny Town do something different. See, he just, and I saw today also, inexperienced coaching. I don't know if that, but you got the best player. I think what Maceo said last week, I think player for player, Pacey's got the best team in this country. What I am concerned about is that the coach didn't set up the team enough. So we're 3-2 up on Devonshire Rec the other night. Let's make sure we sit back, absorb pressure, don't give Denny Town the speed outside, and let's wait and counterattack on him. He didn't do that. He just opened the game up. And I think that's inexperience in coaching. I'm sorry, I'm going to say it right now. That's 8 goals conceded in 2 games, PHC. You put the ball over the top against them, okay. The Dre that plays center half is old, is 30, I think is 43, whatever. Anyway, speed. So I think they conceded the speed the other night. So Mr. Trott has to be concerned of how many goals he's conceded in the last 2 games. I still think that they're capable, just like today, if Antoine Russell would have completed what he done, because I think he's one of the best players in this country, he's smart. Yeah, so is Marco Warren. And the other person, Maceo, the cousin, Antoine.
Enrique.
Yeah, good players. But they didn't step. They just need to finish North Village off, and they didn't. So my concern, if you're not finishing off, well, you're not gonna beat us. You're not gonna beat us. And I thought they just didn't. Come on, guys, 2 games, 8 goals conceded. That's a cause of concern for me. And I still think they're capable, but Jesus, if Antoine and if they put away their chances, they'll beat anybody. The better player for player, they're the better team in this country. They're the better team in this country, quality-wise. Forget about Denny Town and forget about Norfolk. Forget about they're the better team in this country. They just have to make sure that the expectations and produce. That's it. That's as simple as that.
All right. So which one you picking? Denny Town?
No,
You're taking PHC?
I'm taking PHC.
Oh. Okay. Maceo, you want to go back to that?
No, actually, I mean, I was thinking it was the semifinal game that I was talking earlier, right? But Denny Town, for me, I'm still picking Denny Town, and I'm changing my reasons why, because Denny Town has just been professional at all times, man. Just been professional at all times. And when you don't disrespect the game, and Denny Town's now the character team. They're the character team that no matter what, and I can't see Denny Town wanting to allow PAT to beat them, even if they've got the league wrapped up. I can't see it.
Let me make sure I'm glad you said that. Let me say as a coaching perspective on this. If you deal with Denny Town's speed and you cover the spaces, you cover all areas of it, what else do they have? What else is going to happen with them? See, I don't think that PAC managed the game well at Devonshire Rec.
So what Denny Town have, they actually do manage the game well, and they got character now. So they do manage situations well. So they're for me the better team of making decisions.
I didn't see that on Devonshire Rec the other night. There was too many holes. They were just the PAC didn't capitalize on the chances that they had.
So look at the other night of Iraq. What I'm saying about the other night, when the game was all over the place, what showed through is character. Denny Town's character now came out. So once that character came out to keep coming back from being done, like that character came out, and this is something we can't really always measure. But they had spirit, character, and PAT for me is now lack character in certain situations. In certain situations, PATs lack character now.
Well, Macy, I'm just saying to you, we're talking about discussion of formations and understanding. If you're 2 games, you conceded 8 goals. Once you understand that what you're supposed to do to hold, because you know you can win the game, how do you not let team score against you? It's 8 goals are conceded, Bob. So the point is, if Mr. Trott, the coach of PHC, can figure this out, how do we stop the speed? Give Danny Tom space. Let them play in front of him. Let them play wide. Let's Okoye play wide. Let's deal with the speed. Let's organize them. Let's make sure that the only penetration they have will be from wide areas. Okay, right. So I think that they PHC have figured it out.
So what I'll tell you at the business end of the season, end of the season is no more tactics. There's no more who's the best player. At the business end of the season is character. Who's got the character?
Well, so today. This is a good point, man.
There's no more tactics at the end. There's no more, y'all got a better player. Well, her now. Who's got the character to get across the line? And Danny Tom, even some of Danny Tom's fans didn't know that they were conceding PAT had a better team, but Danny Tom's got the character to get across the line. They keep showing they got the character.
Right. Well, then on Sunday, all important match at Police Field. Devonshire Colts host Robin Hood. I'm actually picking Robin Hood. Punchy.
You're condemning Danny.
My concern for Devonshire Colts is this, sir. And I'm speaking on this, sir. What is Ray Jones doing now? What's the position of Devonshire Colts? What's going on there?
Coach. He's the coach.
Coach, president, and youth coach.
That's the point I'm saying. I'm going to point you my finger and say, why are they in the position that they're in? I'm saying to you, I'm glad we're having this conversation about stuff. Like, we're going to start pointing fingers. So what is Ray Jones doing? What is happening at Devonshire Colts? When it started, they beat Norfolk. Okay, so I'm picking Robin Hood for that. I don't know what's going on with Devonshire Colts. They could definitely be relegated. Am I correct?
Yeah, there's a possibility, yes.
Yes, yeah. So the national coach, we've got a national coach at Devonshire Colts. There's a national coach, and they are in that position. Question will be asked. Anyway, I'm picking Robin Hood for that.
Okay, Maceo?
Yeah, I'm picking Robin Hood, man.
Okay.
I'm had some insight into the Colts camp. It's not looking good in the Colts camp from all the way around. Did I hear you tell me that Ray is no longer president?
No longer the president. They had the AGM and he stepped aside.
Yeah.
No, they ain't gonna, I don't think it's roll up. I don't think so.
That's good.
I'm gonna answer that there.
Right?
Sorry.
Because we can't keep asking people to do 4 positions. Like, people can't keep doing 4 positions. They just can't. We're having this conversation, and when people's doing 4 or 5 positions and got complete autonomy, you're just overwhelming them. So it's good that he made that decision to step aside. Maybe he can focus more on coaching or whatever he's going to do next. Because you can't just keep doing all these positions and being a national coach, being a club coach, being a club president. It's just too much.
It's just too much. Exactly.
I'm picking Robin Hood. And I'm actually condemning Colts to relegation.
Okay.
Well, Maceo, I'm sorry, Earl. I'm add to this. I applaud the coach. I applaud him, but he ain't got quality there. There's not a whole lot of quality at Devonshire Colts right now. Seriously. And whether it was so, in taking all these jobs that he have, it's just not going to work no more. And that's why we're talking about this, sir. Ray Jones is spent. Sorry, he don't have the quality. And I just think that they're headed that way.
Well, let me see what happens with this game. Crossroads will entertain Somerset Trojans at the Garrison Field. Punchy.
I think Crossroads going to win that game. Oh, yeah.
Well, let's put it like this. In order for Devonshire Colts to go down, Crossroads have to get a point out of this.
I think, they'll win that game.
They don't get a point Tuesday night.
Yeah.
They have to get a point out of this.
I'm going to Crossroads with that.
I think doesn't get.
They're going to beat Sunset. Sunset's not going to go down to Garrison and beat Crossroads. What's at stake? Crossroads going to win that game.
Okay.
I think they're gonna pull through. I mean, I know I didn't pick them to get a point against Robin Hood on Tuesday night, but I think that's gonna change now. The circumstances are gonna change. The momentum's going with Crossroads. I see them going into the last week with an advantage. Oh.
Okay. Well, Jomar, as you put it earlier, this could be Jomar's last game at Somerset.
Yeah.
I don't think so. I personally don't think so. But I think he has enough to get Somerset over the line in this one. So I'm going to take Somerset. And if I am right, Crossroads go down. If they don't win, if both teams do not pick up a point this week, if Somerset win, Crossroads go down. If Crossroads get a point, Crossroads stay out. That's it. That's it. Colts don't get a point against Robin Hood, so it's all to play for. So I'm going to take Somerset. What's that?
Yeah, no. I've got to clear my head now. What the circumstance is?
Yeah. Final game. Both teams are relegated. Who will come last? Somerset Eagles host Southampton Rangers at Whitehill Field.
Rangers will come last. Somerset Eagles will get that across the line.
Okay. I'm going to take Eagles as well. Punchy?
I'm taking Eagles.
Okay. All right. That should be very interesting up there. I mean, even if both teams show up.
Exactly. Good point. Right on. If they show up.
And I hate having that conversation about teams showing up. Like, I really hate having that conversation.
Yeah,
but I think it's a necessary conversation because I think it undermines the fabric of our game.
Yes,
it undermines the respect of our game, and we're gonna have conversations about teams at this level not showing up.
Yeah. Well, Rangers last night played with 10 men.
Yeah.
Yeah.
With 10 men. You know.
I think I've added to what you and Macy were saying about the construction of what's happening in our country. A team like Southampton Rangers, they lose all these players, and that's also every player goes, "Well, what is the restructuring program?" I'm saying to you, what is Streaker doing up there? What does Streaker think he's going to achieve up there? Like, really? And because we're asking questions of people now, they got to be held accountable, and the clubs are going to be held accountable for what their programs are lacking. And so that's what point you're finger at people now.
Yeah.
So you have a Streaker who qualified with good coaching, but nobody structures someone to Rangers. Seriously? And I'm waiting here. Seriously? It just ain't this country. Hey, it's what it is. It's what we're pointing fingers now, and we're asking questions about. That's what it is. And whether people understand this or not, it's the direction of what we're going in now.
It puts me in a very hurtful position. Like, I know Streaker as the young goalkeeper that played for our national team, and our national team had his best era. To see him playing in goal and players even being disrespectful, or he putting himself in situations that is going to undermine his value. Mm-hmm. And I also know Streaker from a coach that won the Triple Crown at North Village.
So why do that, Nathan? Why take your job? Why take your job?
To be in a position that he's in now, and to that hurts me.
Mm.
I don't think Streaker. I think Streaker should have. Let's say, for instance, maybe Streaker should go down and coach Crossroads. You know what I'm saying? Like, what is projection? Yeah. And we're getting to the final points of the construction of this country. The country's good. We're asking questions now, which I love. Like, why are you there? Where's the program? What's happening? Where's your rebuilding program? What do you have? You got Streaker down there who's a knowledgeable coach, okay, and Rangers, what for? Like, why you take that job? Why? Because there's nothing going to come out of it. It's not good for the country. Rangers are where they are. And I'm saying to you, at least we're talking about it now. We're pointing fingers. What are you about? And we're asking the questions of the club hierarchy in terms of what is Rangers about, what's going on here. And that's what we need to ask.
Sure.
We need to ask these questions.
Right. Well, last week we selected Kamali Davis as the player of the week.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Leanna Lambert, the Marketing and Communications Coordinator here for Gosling's Rum. We are excited again to present in this week's Player of the Week, who is Kamali Davis. Kamali has been a great, consistent contributor to the Dandytown Hornets' success this far in the season, and with some pretty impressive goals, he's helped his side to secure a bid in the Triple Crown match. So we want to say congratulations to you and present you with a bottle of Gosling's Floor Gold Rum. Drink responsibly, of course. But we developed this in honor of our Olympic gold medalist who won in the games in the 2020 Olympic Games. So congratulations. Keep up the great work on your football field, and yeah, enjoy. No worries.
And there you had Kamali Davis, Player of the Week. Now we have the time to pick the Player of the Month for the second month. And following some discussions, we have selected Azende Furbitt from the Dandytown Hornets. Azende has been featured in Dandytown, and you know, as a defender, scoring timely goals, doing well. You know, so we have selected Azende Furbitt as the Gosling's Player of the Month for month 2. So congratulations to Azende. And we will. Sorry.
No, I'm saying something about him. What makes you say, sorry, Earl, about Azende, about what we talk about his qualities, why he's selected there. What he does, he's just a rock right in the center of the midfield there. He don't put too much wrong, you know.
Right.
And the other thing I like about him is that he don't try to overplay. He does his simple things correct. And he's always looking, he scans, I'm really amazed how he's developed. What I seen to him now. I never thought he's a good passer of the game. I couldn't figure out his real position, but he's like that position that Dandytown plays him in that role. He's doing very well. I see in terms of what he knows positioning, what he does in that position, and he don't put a foot wrong. He don't put a foot wrong. So kudos to him. Yeah.
We're gonna pick the Player of the Week on Tuesday night following the match between Robin Hood and Crossroads. So that still gives us 2 more matches to go through and allow that to happen. So we'll have the Player of the Week for you next week, as well as the Player of the Month. So with that, gentlemen, we have the women's national team who will be in action next week. We want to wish them well. First game Friday night, and then back in Bermuda on Tuesday at the National Sports Center. So we'll be looking out for them as well. So I want to wish them all the best. And of course, let's see what happens tomorrow night with the Dandytown Hornets and Devonshire Colts. And then I'm pretty sure there'll be plenty of onlookers from Crossroads at that match. And there'll be plenty of onlookers from Devonshire Colts at the Robin Hood and Crossroads match the next night. So it's all to play for. Who will go down? The way you guys will put it, goodbye, Devonshire Colts.
Goodbye, Devonshire Colts.
Goodbye, Devonshire Colts.
Well, folks, we'll be back next week with another edition of the Island Stats Football Show. Enjoy your night.